Hey guys, just wanted to talk about some of the improvements I've been making to my grow station recently. Um, First, let me show you what I got going on in here. I've transitioned most of my seedlings outside now, but all that I've got in here is the cacao, and they're doing all right. They got their stems, and some of them are starting to leaf. But anyway. So I'll include some pictures or video of what my station looked like in the beginning, so you can kind of see the progression. But when I started, I just had the shelf, and then I added this light, and then I quickly found that it was not enough light. And the first things first is these are just regular lights from like Walmart. They're not like a full spectrum grow light. The intent is just to get things to germinate and then transition them outside. That said, it became very clear very quickly that not only was it not enough light, seedlings were not close enough to the light that was being provided. So both of those things were making the seedlings stretch towards the light, and then they get too lengthy and they don't grow into a healthy shape. Like, if they can grow into that length, but it doesn't always work out from what I've seen. So I started making additions as I learned more about grow stations and different setups. One thing that I have that I really like is this timer. This is like a Wi-Fi timer. I have it kick on at a certain time of day. It turns on the lights, the fan, etc. And then I have everything as modular as it can be, so that I can make changes on the fly if I need to. So I have power strip, I have my heat mats. Right now I have the bottom unplugged and off because it's not being used. I just have the top on and the middle on for the cacao. And when I reference things being modular, I'm talking about making things not permanent. Like, I recently added these reflector panels, which is just a very, very cheap car like windshield reflector that I got at Daiso. And this is not permanent at all because it's just clipped on. And that has been like, that thought process in making things not super permanent has made it really easy to make changes here. For example, these lights, these are not like zip tied in or anything. These are just kind of sitting in their spots. So I have been able to make adjustments and add more lights very easily. For example, when I added these lights, this was like a set of 4. And then recently I got another set of 4 and was very easily and quickly able to add them in. On the other hand, it took me much longer to cut and measure this reflector panel thing than it did to add these lights. Like, I could probably move these around in a matter of minutes because I've kept it modular and not permanent. And I've found that that's been very helpful through this learning process, keeping things modular. And another thing that I found I talked about having seedlings closer to the light. I have found that I need to not only add more lights into my system, not only conserve the light with the reflector panels, but also kind of boost the seedlings up to get them closer to the lights. I've seen setups where the lights are like hanging down, like very close, but I have not opted to do that with my setup yet. I tried it with this one because this one came with like a chain that you use to hang. But it's just not my style, I guess you could say. I don't like it hanging down and then swaying when I accidentally hit it. I feel like it's gonna fall. So I think I like the lights fixed in place, not hanging by a chain. I would rather boost up my seedlings to be directly underneath it than have the light hanging down above the seedlings. And figuring out how to do this on the cheap and save cost has been an interesting journey. One thing that has helped with the lights not being full spectrum is this is literally in my garage. So what I'll do is just open up the garage during the day when I'm at home and get a little bit of that alternate light spectrum from the outdoors. The idea being that hopefully some of the light coming in is going to be some of the spectrum that's missing from these lights and kind of help fill in the gaps, I guess, with what they're not getting from these lights. And the other thing is that since it's in the garage, the air can get a little stagnant in here. So that's why I have this oscillating fan to kind of circulate the air, because it can get very, very hot in here during the summer. And I haven't had this grow station long enough to see how it performs in that level of heat. I'm not sure I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to continue using it if it gets significantly hot in here. We shall see. Yeah, that's my grow station setup at the moment. Doesn't have to look pretty, just has to do the job. I've been thinking about other improvements to make to it, but this is how it is at the moment.